Hey Internet World, it's Amy Dickinson Campbell, and today is March 5th, and I'm doing a What I Know Now segment. Sorry it took me so long, but I really had some anxiety over some things that I learned recently that were not recent events, but I wish I had known them ahead of time because it would have made more sense on what was going on the 6th, because it all ties in together. I found out that I already knew there had been several attempts on President Trump's life when he was, in office. And that I want to say it was two or three of his Secret Service members had been poisoned. And, died, either were very sick or died as a result of the poisoning that they were going after the president with. I knew about that. And, those kinds of things do happen. The deep state is real. These people are just, they're bad news players. They call them black hats. There's the white hats and the black hats. That's what they're called. The black hats are the bad guys in the intel, and the white hats are the good guys. So, and you don't always know who's who. But anyway, the State of the Union for 2020, when Pelosi put her hand out for Trump to shake it, and he snubbed her, it there was chatter going on in Congress down on the floor, and you can tell they were very comfortable in their group because pretty much everybody was involved. Like, there's like so many key people, whether they were Republicans or Democrats, they were involved in this plot. What they kept talking about, and they were saying it openly, was this poisoning. This poisoning is poisoning. That Pelosi was going to poison Trump. Well, one of the very old tricks that the CIA has and that other agencies have is they have a poison that can go on your hand. It's like you can wear it's like a latex skin. Basically, it looks like your skin. And the poison is on the outside and it's not touching you. It's going to touch whoever you touch. And it doesn't even have to be it could be even a teeny little dot. It doesn't have to be very much at all. Well, they were bragging. There's one guy you could tell he was kind of a wet works guy because he was all like bragging about it and just kind of gloating, and he was in his element there around all these people, ignoring the people that weren't part of it, but very much with his groups, and bragging. And at one point he actually said, well, the good guy got killed but the bad guy's still alive. And then one of the other Democrats who was one of the representatives, she goes, oh, well, we're doing this for the good of the people. And then that same wet works guy that was all bragging, he goes, yeah, maybe he'll get enough poison on him that'll kill it didn't say Melania, it'll kill his wife. And then that's when I realized that it was Pelosi had the poison on her hand, because I remember her putting her hand out to him, and they don't do that per se, for the State of the Unions. I mean, they can, it's just courtesies and things, but Pence didn't. And Pence was very much involved, very, very, very aware of what was going on, and commenting to her before he got there. And that's why he started getting sweaty. If you go back and watch the State of the Union as it was getting closer and closer to Trump arrival, Pence just gets sweaty up here. Just sweaty. And he starts, and then he starts drinking water a little bit more. He's nervous because he knew what was going to happen. But then Trump snubs her, never touches it. And then it totally explains why she ripped the speech, because their whole plot just disappeared on him right then and there. Because beforehand they were all talking about the poison and the impeachment, the poison and the impeachment, the poison and the impeachment. And that really made me sick. It made me so sick because I already know that they're evil. I mean, I already knew that, but that's sickening. That's sickening. And it's no wonder they were so scared of us on the 6th. Because think about it. If they thought that we knew, think about how scared they really were. If they thought for a second that we knew that they had pulled this crap and that we were coming after them. Well, the truth is I didn't know then, but I don't know if I would have done anything differently. I probably would have wanted, I would have definitely gone closer to my representatives so they could protect them a little bit better, because they're, as far as I can tell, with the exception of one, I'm not so sure about Dr. Green, my representative. I'm not sure where he stands. I don't know if he's being sold out or not. It's only his second term, so I don't know where he's at. But my senator seems like a pretty good lady, Marsha Blackburn, and I worry about them because I don't know. I don't know where Green's at. I haven't met him in person, and I haven't really seen much of him. So, and I haven't seen him enough where I could even pick him out of a lineup. But Nunes, where I came from, he turned out to be one of the good guys, and I worry about him too. So These guys are really in the swamp. And they'll pull any shit to get through. And it's just bad. It's bad. So anyway, pulling forward, I can tell you where we're at now. So having seen that, knowing what happened on the 6th, and if you're new to just watching this, go back and watch any of mine on the channel. Go back to my Facebook. You can find me. I look just like myself. It's my name, Amy Dickinson Campbell. I'm in Facebook, and I have I posted live when I was there. So it's in Facebook when I was in DC on the 6th, and I can tell you what was going on, what my perceptions were. The 2 days later, when I gave them, it was a really long one. It's on YouTube. It's like 25 minutes long, talking about my perceptions. Well, it turns out they were more accurate than I was thinking. So anyway, now that I've said that, Trump being out of office at the moment was probably the safest coup that he had been up against. Because it was definitely a coup. There was definitely fraud. There was definitely corruption. And our Supreme Court abdicated their authority, punted the ball back, so we don't even want to hear it. So don't let anyone tell you there was no evidence. That's not true. There was no evidence being allowed to be presented. That's what's going on. So no, there's evidence, just hasn't been allowed to be presented in court. So there's different stuff going on, but I think there's more going on within the black hats and the white hats, because like I said, that one plane, as far as I know, is still in Toronto. The DOJ plane is still in Toronto. The plane that's supposed to be for Air Force One, they have more than one. Any plane that the president gets on is called Air Force One. They have more than one of them, and they call them blue and whites. So the blue and white planes that you see, and the blue and whites are used for executives. So it could be a Secretary of State, it could be the Vice President, it could be the President. So Kamala Harris got on one of them, and they signed it AF2, Air Force 2. But Biden has been on several planes, and they've all been NA. They have not been AF1. So I don't know what's going on, but the white hats and the black hats are probably at each other's throats right now. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that I'm not aware of. But after what I saw from the State of the Union on 2020 State of the Union, and looking back and seeing what was said and what they were doing and how they were behaving, and then what they did since then, multiple times, that it was definitely a coup against the president on the 6th. That was definitely a coup. And they were hoping it was going to go a certain way, and it didn't actually go that way, even though they tried their hardest. Conservatives aren't liberals. Liberals run off of emotion, and conservatives tend to be more pragmatic. Although, yeah, they can get emotional, and emotions can run raw, and they can get swept up, like some of them did on the 6th. But it wasn't. They didn't have a million of a storm, because we just didn't. Because that's not what we were there for. We're there for law and order, and that's what we're for. We want law and order, and we want fair law and order. Whatever's good for the goose should be good for the gander. And it hasn't been. So, but it's not over till it's over. And like I said, God is not a man who should be mocked. And whatever is hidden will come out. Things are starting to come out. I've got my law firm working on Department of Justice. My phone's been bugged, and it got worse it started when I got my tickets to go to DC. I'm gonna start telling you guys this because I think you should know it. And when I bought the hotel for DC, we were going for the 4th anyway, and then we stayed through the 6th because the president asked. So we stayed from the 3rd to the 7th. As soon as I paid for the hotel, the phone started getting bugged. Now, I held a clearance when I was in the military, so I know what tricks that they use. And the more agencies that are on your phone, the more you can't hear. But the funny part of that is that anybody calling you, they don't hear it, but you can hear it. And it's so bad. Usually it's a passive. Listening, which means that they'll record and come back and listen later, but sometimes they actively listen. And my daughter was so frustrated. She said, "Mom, I can't hear," and they're freaking breathing on the phone. That's actively listening. So I had my law firm send a request for a copy of the warrant, because the only way they could be doing that is with a warrant. So I had her send a copy of the warrant. So I'm waiting on a copy of that. They have 30 days to respond, and so it's been about 3 weeks already. Well, it's bad still. I was on yesterday with my VA doc on a teleconference, and The VA doc said that we should have the vaccines available to us by May if we want it. I said, no, I don't want it. And he goes, well, what's your concerns? And I said, well, first off, this isn't a new virus. I said it was created in 2014 at the University of North Carolina. Some students put it together, and then it was sold in 2015 from the Obama administration to the Chinese Communist Party in Wuhan at the Bio-4 Weapons Lab. And it was all over the news, big uproar. They shouldn't have sold it, that kind of thing. Well, I said, and since then, they've been working on a vaccine. And I said, and it's never gotten past the animal trials because it's killed every animal. I said, this isn't new. I said, so they've never gotten to the human trials on it because it's killed every animal so far. So they had to go back to the drawing board and try again. Well, then they added the nanotechnology for the mRNA, which is a messenger reconstruction of your DNA. And I'm like, I don't want that in my system. I don't want to be your guinea pig. This isn't important. It's not that important. I said it doesn't have a high morbidity rate. It has a high survivability rate, especially for somebody like me who's pretty healthy. And I get my vitamin D and I take my supplements and I do all that kind of stuff. So I said, I don't need to be a guinea pig for that kind of stuff. And I said, no, I wouldn't take it if I were you. I said, I especially wouldn't take it until the FDA will actually approve it. I said, the FDA has never approved it because it's never been seen by them because it's never gone through the proper trial system. So anyway, as I was telling him that, it interrupted. He couldn't see me. He couldn't hear me. I couldn't see him. I couldn't hear him. We had to chat. We had to literally type our conversation to each other. And then as soon as we changed the subject, back we could hear each other and see each other again. It's bad right now. So, and that was my doc for the VA. It's supposed to be a secure line where I'm talking to my doctor. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. The Supreme Court punted. Things are still going on in the States. We'll see what the States do. There's stuff going on the back end that I have no clue what's going on, but I do know that the front end was ugly. And it was uglier than even I thought it was, which I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. That they would actually, on camera, try to kill him on camera. I'm so glad that he snubbed her. I'm so glad that he did that. All right, guys. You all have a blessed day. And I'll keep you guys posted. Because I find stuff out. Like I said, I waited for a while to tell you because that was kind of ugly. And it really took a lot to get through. Because I don't have much faith in Nancy Pelosi or people like her. You know, her ilk in Congress. But I do expect them to have some mode of decorum. And to openly try to kill him on camera in front of the world. I thought Hillary Clinton was bad. Nancy Pelosi just went to the top of the shit list. All right, guys. I'm sending love. Say prayers. Prayers for the country. Prayers that whatever's right will come to light and will happen. Because our country deserves it. We're good people here. We're not the bad people that are in those positions that shouldn't even be there. We're good people. And it's time. It's time for right to happen. Bye, guys.